Yeah, they call him the Don, the architect of the whole faction. Mad Mike Sports with the play call, yeah, that's the main attraction. The unholy alliance, we moving with some savage aggression. Got the whole game in a frenzy, we teaching a lesson. 6MK live tuning, you hear pumping through the nation. The new generation listening to the originator's creation. We the ones that built the throne, accept no substitution. We the ones that built the throne, accept no substitution.
Hey, what's going on, people? What's going on, people? Been a very auspicious day for a lot of different reasons. Your boy K Styles here, aka the Sixth Man, with the Senator, Mad Mike Sports.
Yes, it has. Yeah, for a number of reasons. You're absolutely right about that.
Mm-hmm. And this is the originators. But we thought to push it back a little bit just to give an opportunity for the people in front of us. But we got a good little one going on here, man. First of all, Mike, boy, what's going on with you?
I am absolutely wonderful. I really am good.
Sound like some bullshit. I see bullshit is involved, but we'll talk about that another day.
Yes, sir.
But you already know we got this stuff going on over here right now, man. So, hey, we're gonna go and get right into it. But before we get into it, give a shout out to the people that's in here already. Let's say Silk is in the building. We got D Sloan. Yes, he's a new member of the 6MK channel. Hook up the pieces. We got Leo. We got Eric Mack. We got Madam Howell in the building. And we got Drip LaFleur. All right. So today's topic at hand that we're going to be talking about is, once again, the wide receiver position. They got a little bit more expensive as your boy Jaxon Njigba becomes the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history.
Yeah, that's a crazy contract. That's an insane contract.
And how would this affect Drake London and or wide receivers that come after him?
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be very, very interesting because I know a lot of people talking about these contract situations, Drake London, Bijan, Kyle Pitts, and all that stuff. But before we get right into that, now, my question to you, Mike, is, do you feel like the Seattle Seahawks jumped the gun on this type of contract for him? Or do you think it's well deserved?
1,000%. That this is one of the worst contracts in the NFL history. You just don't do these types of things. I think this was one of the dumbest things any franchise could ever do.
Do explain that to me.
Oh, I don't like this at all. For one, it's a quarterback. I mean, for one, when you start giving wide receivers $120 million, like that's never good for anybody, including themselves. I don't trust wide receivers for a number of reasons. This guy give all the glory to God and all that type of stuff, but I'm gonna be a heathen for a second and say I don't believe them. I just don't trust wide receivers when you start paying them money. I don't trust our very own receivers. I just don't. I don't think you could do this to a wide receiver. It's all hell is gonna break loose when you start giving wide receivers $100+ million. Nothing good can come of it. If you ask me, I could be completely wrong, but I don't think anything good can come out of it. When you start giving wide receivers 120 is about 24 million. From what they say, I don't necessarily believe it, but it's $42 million. But the taxes and all that type of stuff, I'm not buying it. That's about $40 million in 42, almost 43 million in salary. But they're saying after taxes and all that time, he might get 24. But still, that's even too it's crazy. 42 million for a wide receiver. I like I said, not saying that he isn't a wonderful receiver. I just don't think this is a smart deal. I think it ruins the landscape of salary in the NFL, and just only just going to get worse.
So, for those that may not have heard, as Mike just so eloquently said, first of all, make sure, can you hear me pretty good?
Yes.
Okay. That should have been the first thing I had. Oh, wow. So while Jaxon Njigba got his contract, it looks like Charles Cross earlier this year had got a 4-year, $104 million deal that I had no idea about, that nobody talked about.
Hold on, say that again.
Said Charles Cross.
Charles Cross. Okay.
The offensive tackle, he signed a $104 million deal earlier in January. I forgot about that too. So basically,
about that. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So basically, this contract kicks in 2028 on average of $42 million a year. Yeah. Whew. Yeah, that's a very big commitment. That's a very big commitment. So what it says to me is, if you got a wide receiver that's going to cost that much, are they going to still stick with the identity or the flow of the offense that helped them win the Super Bowl? Because you know what happens once you start paying wide receivers that type of money. The running game becomes obsolete.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like I said, it's just I just don't think it. Like, I understand rewarding players. I really do believe. I believe you should reward your players. When they've gotten, played well. I'm sure that the Seahawks at this point in time, from what we understand, these guys are trying to sell the team. Like I said, he won a championship. He got the hell on. He wants to get the hell on. So if the rumors are true, they got their money. They got exactly what they wanted, and I just, like I said, I just think it's dangerous. It's like, name a wide receiver that's not Larry Fitzgerald that act like he's, how can I say this? That didn't act like a prick after he got paid. Like, most of the quarterbacks, most of the wide receivers that gotten paid, all of them act like a prick. I mean, Amon St. Brown, he think he a damn Gloria Estefan or somebody, a damn dancer, or Debbie Allen or something, because he up here choreographing and trying to do music, all this other weird crap. Wide receivers just done, like, wide receivers I just don't. I don't believe in paying wide receivers this much money, to be honest.
Right. Like Jerome said here is, can he do all that without Kubiak calling plays?
Yeah, that's another reason why I think this is dangerous in its own right. Like this team is completely different at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like the team is completely different. You're looking at a guy in Kubiak that's gone. Kenneth Walker is gone. He signed with the Chiefs, and then you got Charbonnet who tore his ACL, right?
Yeah. He tore his ACL right before the playoffs.
So I don't think it was a wise. I really believe this now. I'm taking the route that Jew takes with running backs. I'm replacing wide receivers every 5 years. That's just me. Like
Oh
unless
shit.
he wants to be with the team, like you're going to do it because like I said, I'm not with the quarterback position already insane. You know, the money that they giving quarterbacks. You can't afford a
Mhm.
quarterback, a wide receiver, and then try to build a defense on top of it.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, the question now is are they going to force the Seattle Seahawks to become a more of an air raid team?
Mm-hmm.
Cause I don't think you'll be able to get your money's worth with JSN if the team is running the football the way it did in the final stretch of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we talked about Drake London being the next in line. That's the next conversation itself. But what did this do for a guy like a Puka Nakua?
Yeah. And that contract, good God Almighty, him
Is he
being
going to get 43, 44?
yeah, yep, yep,
Like you said, give it about 3 years' time, these wide receivers going to actually be, they're going to be making as equal to the quarterbacks.
yeah. Uh-huh.
And my question to you is, do you think the NFL can sustain a skill position player making as much as the quarterback? Do you
Can
think
it?
a team can sustain it?
No, absolutely not. I think it creates, and it really just depends on how the front office. If the front office kind of has a relationship with the players that come in and say, you know, look, we would love to have you guys here, but
Mm-hmm.
we may not be able to afford you. Well, we may not be able to give you guys like a 3 to 4 year deal because of how the contracts with these top players. Like if they can kind of build some sort of a bridge with the players, like 1 year and year to year type of thing, maybe they'll be able to do something, but that'll be difficult because, like I said, the way these contracts are right now with these star players is it's dang near impossible to keep star players on the roster, especially wide receivers. I don't see how you can keep wide receivers. That's too much money for me.
Robert here saying roster building with contracts like this will be challenging and losing good players will be sacrificed. Of course.
Mm-hmm. That right
For
there is
every big offensive for every big offensive contract that you take on, you lose a good defensive player.
Mm-hmm.
And vice versa. And that's part of the game. Southside said, even with JSN, I feel the Seattle Seahawks wide receiver room isn't elite.
No, they clearly isn't. That's why. That's why I said this is not a smart. I don't believe it's a smart deal. I think they would just put in a position like I hate to say this, but what we had with Quinteros, aka Mr. Julio Jones, we didn't really have a strong outside. I mean, it's better than it is now. The Atlanta Falcons wide receiver club, but like then, um, you know, it's better. The Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley wide receiver room was better. It's better than it is now, but at the same time, um, the Falcons were placed in a position because you didn't have real good defense. I mean, you didn't have a consistent defense. You didn't have the offensive line. It wasn't what it is now. And now you just putting them in a place where you got to prioritize the offensive guys. And without a quarterback, I'm not saying that Sam Darnold is a bad quarterback, but he's been inconsistent in his career. And a wide receiver, the lack of a running game, you pretty much change. They're going to have to depend on their defense to win a lot of games, but for them. Not saying that they can't do it, not saying that they won't win, but that money, like you're gonna start losing a lot of good players, like the Philadelphia Eagles. They losing a lot of defensive ends, a lot of defensive linemen, a lot of players on their team because you can't. You're having to keep paying the Saquon Barkleys and the Jalen Hurts and all these guys and AJ Brown act like he want to stay, but he don't want to stay, but he want to stay, and he don't want to go, and he want to go.
Right. Yeah. If you want to pay big money, you got to hit on every draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because you gotta be able to have a revolving door on every single possession to where you're not really losing. You're not losing ground. And shout out to the OG,
Oh, we.
Mr. Wide. He said at this point, to me, Drake is a trade piece in a draft because Bijan is the only untouchable part and will get the career contract. So he just said something there very interesting. So do you? And we'll go ahead. We'll go right into that second topic.
Mm-hmm.
What is, in your opinion, what does this contract say for Drake London in the future?
Okay, from which standpoint? From his standpoint or the organization standpoint?
First, we're gonna start off is from the organization standpoint with him, or do you think that they will be looking to, like Sam said, looking to trade him to avoid trying to go bankrupt at that position? We'll start off with that one. Is it wise for the Atlanta Falcons to keep Drake London if this is the market for wide receivers?
Well, absolutely not. It's not wise to keep Drake London because you don't have a quarterback yet. That's not signed, sealed, and delivered. Okay? It's still on the way. It's still on it's about 3, 4, 5 stops away from your destination. Our quarterback position is about 3, 4 destinations away. Okay. We ordered it. It looks like it's good. Everything looks like it's, on the right path, but it's like it's not here. So my thing is with that, when you don't have a quarterback, yeah, you have a running back. And I think that's the thing that's the most glaring at this point. You have a running back and you have a decent offensive line. And I'm just being generous about saying that. But like the Falcons have a pretty damn good, close to elite offensive line when all the guys are healthy. So I don't think it's smart from the organization standpoint to keep Drake.
Mm. Mm. And the second part of that is if they decide to pay Drake, do you think that the office is conducive to get your bang for your buck with a contract like that for Drake London?
But that's even kind of because Drake had I don't say a knee injury, but he's a bigger, more physical wide receiver. So, like in this offense, I think he'll fare well in it. So you'll be able to get your numbers from Drake. No mistake about it. I think if you're if your vision is if your plan is to make sure that you just have a top wide receiver, Drake is going to be that for you. He's going to be consistent. He's going to be able to get you the numbers. But I like Jew. I just keep bringing up Jew's philosophy, and like I said, I do love wide receivers. Okay, I play wide receiver myself, so that's how I know. It's like if I'm not getting the ball as a wide receiver, I don't like not getting the ball. Okay, I played receiver. I did not like not getting the ball. So I have the mentality of a wide receiver. You better give me this damn ball. I'm not gonna be out here running all these routes and I'm not touching the ball. So absolutely not. So my thing is that's like, I just don't trust wide receivers, to be honest.
And it kind of goes back to what we talked about last week when it came to that Kyle Pitts franchise tag. It makes that possibility kind of difficult to handle. Especially if you was trying to pay Drake London before the market got too high. But like Sam said here, the market now is right where it's at about $42 million a year for the top guys. He said we could draft wide receivers and still compete on the defense on a championship level.
And that's the plan that I have. That's why I say if I'm the Atlanta Falcons, I'm looking for the first deal to get Drake up out of here. There's no disrespect and disregard of Drake numbers and what he can do. None whatsoever. But we've also seen wide receivers on terrible teams. Yeah, the receivers got their numbers, but you can never get say never, but it was difficult to build an offensive line. It was difficult to pretty much have a consistent running game. And it's difficult to even build a defense with that. Because you got to, let's be honest, you got to have a corner. And then with the top corner for a specific team, most teams are going to overpay a cornerback. I mean, the Falcons got lucky with A.J. Terrell. A.J. could have got way more money than what he got. He could have. But it's my opinion that he wanted to be here. And the Falcons, he got the contract at the right time.
Right. But on some other NFL news, I know y'all probably heard that. Well, it looks like your boy Travis Kelce isn't going anywhere after all.
Yeah.
They said 3-year, $54 million contract. I think it said 17 guaranteed, I think.
Yep. 17 about the same thing.
Because I think the highest paid tight end right now is George Kittle. I think George Kittle is the highest paid tight end in the NFL right now. Let me see. Let's get the numerics on it.
Because it's I know even with the tag, Kyle is going. I think he got like 16 somewhere in there.
I think so. Like you said, I don't think they came out with the full numerics of the contract yet,
Mm-mm.
but like I said, it looks like he ain't going nowhere. I know Patrick Mahomes happy as hell. It said it was a 1 year deal.
Well, it's 1
But
year. It's voided years, so it's kind of
mhm,
like they gave a basically the last 2 years of that contract are base numbers. So based on what
mhm,
happens, it's 54 million in guaranteed. Well, it's 50 more in total, but they reserved the right after that first year to go back and change the numbers if he decides to return. So they can kind of
right.
it's what we saying about void years. The void years are the most important numbers.
Mhm. That gives them the opportunity if they want to keep a cutter guy,
Mm-hmm.
or as you would say, the void years are just years to where they can negotiate for more
Mm-hmm.
money if need be.
Yes.
So what it says, is he'd be making $12 million and guaranteed it could make upwards to $15 million next season.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much that 1 year deal, I think everybody thought they had was really just the first year in all its totality.
Mm-hmm.
But with that deal, Travis Kelsey becomes the highest paid tight end in the NFL. Go figure.
I mean, we can say what he want, but Travis Kelsey has shown that he's one of the greatest tight ends to ever play the game. And Pino,
Hmm.
you gonna stay off of Taylor, all right? Leave that girl alone. I need a piece of that. I need a piece of that action. That girl got that stupid bread. So look, you can hate all they want
And
to. I put my damn feet for 100
that
million.
bread, that bread goes a long way.
Bruh, for real.
That
Man,
bread
okay,
goes a
speaking of
long
looking at her, man, I love looking at her. That look, them pockets are deep. Okay, I can
way.
pretend to like you.
I mean your pockets better run deep if your back pockets touch each other. They
Like,
better run. That's a Kevin Hart joke, y'all.
yeah, no, I got,
Wilding
I
out
got
joke.
it. No, I got that one.
Nah, but that kind of surprised me with all the possible retirement talks that was going on. I guess he said, "Well, I ain't done yet," and I guess they just offered him that money. Like, shit, I gotta keep up. I gotta keep up with this woman
Mm-hmm.
at least for another couple years. Uh, yeah, it's some good points on that Bijan Robinson though, because you have to look at it from a standpoint like this, and this is just my interpretation on that. Like I said, Bijan Robinson is the focal point of why Kevin Stefanski is here in Atlanta. That came out of his own mouth. So, and basically, right now you have Jameer Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, are the top two running backs right now that's looking for big major paydays coming up here in the next year or two.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why Mike is on Mike, and this is why a lot of people are on that mindset of you may have to look at possibly dealing Drake London because you think about it like this. Would you rather keep an all world running back making 19, $20 million a year or a wide receiver that's making 44, $45 million a year
Yeah.
in an offense that's predicated on both guys getting the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So if both guys are getting the ball and you have a $20 million running back versus a $45 million wide receiver, where are you getting your bang for your buck?
Yeah, you're not getting it because on top of it, there's an inconsistency at quarterback. So it's not a smart investment. And
Mm-hmm.
let me say this because I saw the video where he said it makes Bijan tradable. Okay.
Oh, he said make be tradable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Well, because there's a
nah.
misconception that the NFL is still the same NFL. It's not.
Mm-mm.
You talking about tradable if the NFL was the way it was let's say 3-4 years ago, well say 5 years ago, where it was just I mean 6 if you really want to be 6 to 7 years ago, and the Brady, Matt Ryan, Breeze era, where it was just basically just wide receiver, quarterbacks. You had like 4 or 5 guys at the quarterback position throwing for 5,000 yards almost every season. Okay, and that was just the low. So we had well over
Mm-hmm.
7 to 8 guys in the NFL during that time. 8, if you really want to be honest about it. About 8 quarterbacks throwing the ball for well over 4,500 yards. Okay, 4,500 yards. Quarterbacks were doing that, and wide receivers numbers was through the roof. But like now, it's not like that. So when you have a team like this, for example, you just look at the Chiefs. Who do they bring in as a quarterback?
Justina.
Justina Field. He ain't threw 4,000 yards in 3 seasons. Okay, like how the hell? Why are we up here worried about paying wide receivers when we barely got quarterback that can throw the ball for 3,000 yards? It doesn't make sense. This is why when you look at guys like Bijan Robinson, these wide receivers and offensive linemen are about to have but they about to get the oils ready. They're gonna start oiling up their own legs, boy, because they gonna look these these running backs, offensive linemen, they're gonna be posing like they how they are them damn what you call them damn things? On the Schwarzenegger, them strongman competition, they have all them oils on,
Mm-hmm.
they're posing.
Oh
This
yeah, they're talking about the bodybuilder competition.
yeah, like bro, they're gonna be posing. These running backs about to be posing. The offensive line gonna be posing like crazy. Why? Because they're gonna be the
Mm-hmm.
main attraction right now. Because that's the way the NFL is going right. We got to understand what trend we are in the quarterback. Yes, people want to see wide receivers, but we're not getting what we ask for out of wide receivers. And then we talk about numbers and consistency. AJ Brown is getting paid what? Damn, that's $30 million,
Mm-hmm.
and he wasn't the main attraction on his own team. Make that make sense? He wasn't even the main attraction on his own team, and we're paying him that much money. So my thing is the main attractions of the team is what? Saquon Barkley. The main attraction on this Atlanta Falcon team is Bijan Robinson.
Bijan Robinson.
I don't see how he becomes more tradable. Trading the guy just because he can get you more capital, doesn't mean that's a smart thing to do.
Especially with the wide receiver position being one of the least paid positions in the NFL, skill position players in the NFL, offensively or defensively.
Yeah. So I don't think.
I mean, if you're talking about a guy that's going to be possibly making the running back position finally creeping up past $18 million. Everybody else is in the $25-30 million range right now.
Yep.
Like I said, the wide receiver position costs more than a pass rusher now.
Yeah. Than a pass.
Damn near more than a pass rusher. And the wide receiver position is the most dependent position on the football field.
Yep. They depended on the offensive line and the quarterback.
So, like you said, it sounds good in theory because you want to. The reason why I really said that because everybody wants to recoup that first round pick we lost to James Pierce. That's all it really come down to. Like you said, some of our Falcon fans want to recoup that first round pick so badly, so they're looking at Bijan being that main one that could get it to you. Problem is, who is more valuable to this team? Bijan Robinson or Drake London?
Yeah,
hey, that's my question that I have for everybody watching right now. Who do you think is more valuable to this team? Drake London or Bijan Robinson? Because you may say, well, I could find a running back that can do what Bijan does. You can find a wide receiver that do what Drake does.
That right there. Because that's the thing. Like, I think we get caught up in what we can get for players. We don't realize it doesn't make sense. You just man, it's like trading in a gun at the pawn shop. You just looking at trying to get some money. But
exactly.
What happens when somebody breaks in your house and you done sold it for $200? You done sold the gun for $200 because you just need it or wanted $200. Now you're in a position where now you got to be like, and God, I hate to say this, but like Sean Taylor, now you got to fight off a crew of people with a knife or a sword. You see what I'm saying? You put yourself at a disadvantage just because you wanted some extra picks and extra money. R.I.P. to the great Sean Taylor.
Exactly.
That's the point I'm making. It's like a lot of people just want to trade guys just because they're getting picks and back. Oh man, we got 5 picks back. But are you gonna find another Matt Ryan? Are you gonna find another Mike Vick? Are you gonna find another Bijan Robinson? Chances are that's not gonna happen.
Right.
We still looking for a Mike Vick and a Matt Ryan right now.
I mean, first of all, you still trying to find out your consistency at the quarterback position right now.
Yep.
You just said it earlier in the show. If you don't have the consistency at the quarterback position, what's the point in paying a wide receiver $40-something million if you have no consistency at the quarterback position? It doesn't help at all. Now, you may say, well, Larry Fitzgerald did it in Arizona. Larry Fitzgerald wasn't making $45 million a year.
You sure wasn't.
The market has changed.
And he was taking a deal.
He was taking pay cuts. He was taking pay cuts like a motherfucker too.
Yeah, he wanted to be there.
Yeah, Nathan, that's what we're talking about. See, it's not about who do we like. We're not see this conversation ain't about who do we like. This is about what is real, what is realistic here. He said the way the wide receiver market is going, you can have Bijan and Kyle Pitts for the price of London.
Yeah, and that right there, Nathan. The thing is, it's not so much the offense that I'm trying to keep intact to win. You gotta have a defense in today's NFL. You gotta get out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't build your defense, you don't have the necessary pieces. What good are those picks? That's just waiting for the next year to hope. That's what picks are.
Mm-hmm.
Waiting the next year for hope. You're hoping.
And then you really look at this year's draft. If you really look at this year's draft, especially in the first round, there's really no hype in the first round at all.
None. This is one of the worst drafts all season I have ever seen. And I've been doing this, I'm a 5-year kid. We've been doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of the worst.
No hype.
None.
On anything. It's so bad right now that people are starting to talk about Ty Simpson being the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, that's bad.
I can't even name 10 guys in the first round to get excited about.
So I know why people want first round picks, but again, if you don't have things in place, and I'm talking about a good front office that can to go out and notice and draft guys, and then you got to have people to develop them on top of it. What good are those picks? They're just going to turn into another Marlon Davidson.
Mm-hmm. Oh Lord, you ain't just say that name.
Yeah. Like that dude.
Mm-hmm.
That mother came in talking so much crap. Guess what? Nothing. You got nothing. You got a moment where he knocked the ball. What it was an interception?
It was a pick six on Tom Brady.
On Tom Brady. That was the highlight of his career. One play.
That was the only play in his career.
That's it. You hoping for hope. I don't care about picks that much if I can't develop them. I don't trade away great players just to get picks. That doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. Because guess what? And just like Jerome here said, it's a crapshoot. You trade away those draft picks and you thinking you find the next Bijan Robinson. Come to find out that motherfucker is Kajana Carter.
Woo! Yeah, Kajana Carter's supposed to be a legend, boy. Good God Almighty.
And like I said, he had the injury issues, which is unfortunate for him. Or he could possibly be. He'd probably be the next Lawrence Phillips. Don't want to go down that road.
Lawrence Phillips. Look, I'm not saying Ashley Genty won't be a good running back, but he didn't fulfill the hype that they had coming out of it. You see what I'm saying?
That's like you said. Like you said, that could be because of offensive line. We don't know yet because he did kind of start playing better at the end of the year.
Yes.
Like the last month or so. But the thing about it is, Bijan Robinson has a multitude of skill sets.
Yes.
That me personally, that I believe at paying 19 to 20 to $21 million will be worth more of the investment than paying Drake London $40 to $45 million.
Mm-hmm. You can split them out. Like he can be a third down back, and you continuously build the offensive line and bring another running back out. He'll still have value on his team, even if he's no longer an elite running back. He still has that skill.
Right.
You can't teach that. And you can't teach that.
But what do I know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, what do I know?
I'm not trading offensive linemen, especially in this, because I personally believe, I don't know about you, Kim, but I think you kind of, but what you said is, I think the NFL is getting back to representing, the trenches, running the ball, getting after the quarterback, and playing solid defense. That's where I think it's headed.
That's and you know the reason why that is, right?
Oh,
you know why that is?
Do tell.
Because the quarterback in the wide receiver position is becoming too expensive.
Yes, indeed. Yep. They're not developed.
You got think about this. Your average quarterback is making $45 million. Anywhere between $35 to $45 million. Your average wide receiver now is making anywhere between $30 to $40 million. Your average pass rusher is making $37 million. That's a lot of that's a lot of money for a 1-2 punch.
Yep. A lot.
Drip said, can't wait for STF's episode about instability and impatience. I think we already done did that. But we can further chop in on that one as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we could further go into that one. Instability and impatience. Yeah, that can go in so many different ways.
So let me get some stats real quick. I want to give some stats real quick to kind of give people why the quarterback position is so bad right now. So we're gonna go to 2016 and look at the top 10 quarterbacks. Okay, top 10 quarterbacks in 2016. Yeah, Drew Brees was 5,200, Matt Ryan 49, Kirk Cousins 49, Aaron Rodgers 44, Phillip Rivers 43, Matthew Stafford 43, Joe Flacco 43, Andrew Luck 42, Carson Palmer 42, and Russell Wilson capped it at 10 or 4,200. Okay, that's that's one game less. Okay, one game less than right now. And these are the top 10 from last year. 47, 45, 45, 43, 4,000, 4,000, 39, 39, 32, 36. 3,600 in the top 10 is what we're dealing right now. And they got an extra game. They got an extra game, and they're still not putting up the numbers that those quarterbacks were putting up in 2010 or 2016. And a Matt Ryan era, okay? Matt Ryan, those guys, the top 10 was filled with guys passing the ball for over 4,200 yards. And we're looking at right now, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4 guys this year that threw for that. Okay? 4 guys that threw for 43. Only 4. We had 10 in 2016 of them.
Because they dumbed the game down.
They dumbed it down.
They dumbed it down.
And that's what we've been talking about for quite some time, Q.
They dumbed it down because the progressions of the quarterback positions have went so far down, and we're just talking about on the overall scale. If you're just looking at the group of quarterbacks in general, everything that got dumbed down. And like you said, you also have to think about a lot of these defenses are smarter now than they were back then. Because a lot of these kids have played against these same systems since Pee Wee. They run the RPO in Little League football.
Mm-hmm. And Little
These
League
guys have been playing against. They've been playing against these systems since they were kids. And the defensive players now have a leg up because like shit, I already know what these motherfuckers doing.
They know how to stop it. They know where to be because they know where they're going to come back to. All that type of stuff. They already know.
Mm-hmm.
They know the ins and outs of that scheme.
So defenses will rather give up the dink and dunk plays than give up the big plays. Because I think one thing that you have to realize too, Mike, is those downfield shot plays that we used to see a lot in those 2016, 2017, 2018 seasons. Mm-hmm. Defenses ain't giving up those no more. Because of the lack of skill at the quarterback position.
Yeah, they don't know how to read it. They don't know how to manipulate it. They're not even all the concepts that they running now is to get the ball out of the quarterback hand as quick as possible without play action. They don't even use play action like that anymore.
Yeah, Xavier here said you find a wide receiver that does what Drake does before you find another Bijan. You can find 2 to 4 Drakes per draft, but you only gonna get a Bijan one every 3 years.
No, you can put that 3 to 5 years. You're not gonna find a Bijan. Yeah, you will not find. Bijan is a special athlete. You don't find that. You will never find many Bijan Robinsons. I'm more poised to say every 5 to 10 years you may find a Bijan Robinson. He's that special.
Mm-hmm. You gotta realize Bijan Robinson actually is a bigger running back than people give him credit for.
Yep.
The dude is about 6'2". He's about 6'2", 220. That's a big running back.
That's a
moving like that.
Yes. That's what Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith, Thurman Thomas, those guys were around the same side. They were not small running backs.
Well, Barry was a midget, but like I say, he was big as hell for a size
though. He was thick as a
he was big as fuck. Yeah, he was like 5'8", 210. That's a big running back for his size.
Yes.
Because on average, Bijan Robinson's skill set, on average, you'll find in a running back that's like 5'10", 205 or something like that. Or 5'9", 195. This dude is 5'11", almost 220.
And the feet like a damn. Whew. I haven't
seen. How tall was AP? Adrian Peterson was 6'2", 220.
Yeah, he'll run through anybody's face.
Right.
Like you don't find these types of players like that. Like I said, as much as I love Drake and I want him to stay, I'm getting rid of him now. Because if you want to compete, you gotta have defense, you gotta have defensive backs, and you gotta have strong offensive line and a strong running game. That's how you're winning championships now.
Yeah, Drip here said, I'm glad we're going back to the old school style of playing now. But all the casuals will throw a hissy fit because they only care about highlights and flashy passes rather than analyzing the game. Yeah, because it's easy to go off of highlights and be in your feelings about highlights. It's easy to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Murphy said my favorite running back of all time was Barry Sanders. Used to be a Detroit Lions fan only because of Barry Sanders. And I think a lot of people were like that.
Mm-hmm. Just watch Barry. That's it. A lot of us
Mhm.
just want to watch Barry.
Yeah. Well, I was a little bit different. I was more of the Jerome Bettis, Mike Allstott.
I
Bruising
just like
running back
running back
style like that.
position period. I just like the running back position period. I didn't really care
Mhm.
for the style.
Yeah. But if you're talking about outside of being like a bruising running back, I think one of my favorite running backs I used to watch, and I think he'll never get enough credit for what he done in the NFL with Armon Green. Because that
He
motherfucker
was
is
smooth
Bijan Robinson.
operator, smooth.
He
Smooth.
he is Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
He
Yep.
and LaDainian Thompson, Armon Green was just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, when you got the Edgerrin James at that time, you got the Marshall Falks, you got the Ahmad Greens, uh, you got the Eddie Georges, Thomas Jones, Rudy Johnson, Corey Dillons, the Willis McGahees. Damn, boy, that was an era of running backs for your ass right there.
Yes, we need that back, man. I'm telling you, the NFL will be so much better if we would just get back to the basics. We have forgotten about the pass, the play action pass. We are completely, damn
He
near.
was.
Most of the good offensive coordinators run a lot of play action. If y'all don't see now,
hmm hmm Because guess what? And it's a lot easier now to run the football now because all the defenses are geared to stop the pass now. See, the reason why the pass game was so effective in the early 2000s all the way up to like a couple years ago was because the defenses were not geared up to stop the pass.
Yep.
They were still on the cusp of stopping the run. Because remember, you had your linebackers are like 230, 240 at that time, and at that point in time, majority of them were thumpers. Now, your defenses are geared to stop the pass, where you got a lot of these hybrid safeties playing linebackers. This is just the best time to get back to that nasty style of running it.
yep.
That super. You talk about a Bijan Robinson fan right there.
Yes, yes. This
Bijan Robinson fan.
yes.
That's a size love hustle Bijan Robinson. Yeah. Yeah,
It's hard not
Michael
to love
Turner.
Bijan. And I'm not saying I
Michael.
wasn't that. I'm not saying I wasn't the biggest fan. I just didn't watch him because we in Georgia we did not see a lot of Texas, so I didn't see a lot of him until I actually watched the film. I was like, yeah, this dude's special.
Yeah. But just kind of getting back to the wide receiver room and why the wide receiver position is going to start weeding out a lot of teams. Once that position hits a threshold like that, yeah, it's about time to kind of start to wean it down a little bit. Because if the wide receivers and the quarterbacks are making the same, yeah, it's over with. It's over with for that team.
Play tackle football no more. If that's the damn per. Like, no.
It's over. If the wide receivers make equal to the quarterbacks, it's over with for the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jamal Lewis. Yep. Maurice Jones-Drew, Clinton Portis, Michael Turner, Lamont Jordan. A lot of folks don't know that,
Ooh,
don't
I
remember
forgot
that
about
name.
him. Yeah, I forgot about him.
Willie Parker, Steven Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
when he was in his prime. Steven
Mm-hmm.
Jackson.
Yeah.
Had to throw
Greg,
that in there.
Greg
Frank.
He was one of my favorites when I was just starting to watch. I used to just go back and watch a
Right.
lot of his stuff, but like I kind of caught him at the tail end. I really wasn't a football fan. Watched a lot of football all my life, but I wasn't a fan until like '98. But Craig,
Right.
Sean Alexander is another one that was very good.
Mm-hmm. He said, I'm surprised I don't hear Adrian Peterson. Unless you're talking about the Adrian Peterson from Georgia Southern, unless you talk about that one.
Yeah, AP was a
Because it's now Adrian. See,
Georgia
we got
Southern one.
AD all day. That's the one everybody knows that played for the Vikings.
Yeah, not
Don't
the other
nobody remember
AP.
the Adrian Peterson from the Chicago Bears.
No, definitely not.
He wasn't a great running back, but he was serviceable. He was serviceable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Pete asked the question, how long y'all been Falcon fans? I guess he's saying he comes from Lynn Kane, William Andrews era. Well, for me, a Falcon fan, I say probably since '98. Because at that point in time, I wasn't really watching football like that. I didn't really start watching football until till the Falcons made it to the damn Super Bowl and the whole goddamn city was in a celebration.
Mm-hmm.
I knew of the Falcons, but I wasn't really a football fan. Because around that time,
following the game like that, because like I said, '98 with the
yeah,
same thing. I watched it,
yeah.
and I really wasn't.
But, like I said, but if you're talking about following the game like we doing now, it was probably about 2002.
That's when I started.
If you talk about following the game like how we do now.
Yeah, that was me
So,
around the same time. Yep.
So like anywhere between that 98 2002 range is when I actually started really following the Falcons like that. Because I was more of a baseball guy and I was more of a soccer guy and I was more of an NBA guy before I was an NFL guy.
It was NBA for me. I was more into basketball earlier than actually than football.
It was baseball and soccer for me. And then NBA.
That's when NBA was at its peak. So, like I said, I watched football, but like actually following the players and following the teams, like no, I wasn't as heavy as I was in around 9. Like I said, the '98 is where I really started getting into it.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I knew about football, but I really didn't care about it. I knew about the Steelers. I knew about the Cowboys. I knew about the 49ers. Of course, we all knew all about that shit. Like I said, I was born in '87, so. But when I was born, most of the Falcon games were blacked out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Most of them games were blacked out. Boy, you had to go to the games in order to see them or listen to them on the radio.
Mm-hmm. That was yeah. Like it. Look, if you couldn't get home to watch the game, you was listening to it on the radio.
Right.
NFL game
Oh
day
boy,
98.
oh boy, that was my game right there. Here go.
Mhm. Mhm.
Boy, that was one of the most gangster intros for a football game you ever see. Y'all look up
Mhm.
that NFL Game Day '98 intro. Nah, Game Day '98. That was Jerome Bettis on the cover on that one.
No, that wasn't Terrell Davis.
Terrell Davis, I think that was the year after. I think that was '99. He was on the cover. I know '98 and '97. I know. I think Jerome Bettis was on the '98 cover.
Mhm.
Yeah, NFL Game Day was one of the first football games that
That
had
wasn't.
rotating cover athletes
Yeah, that wasn't named John Madden.
or Joe Montana football
Joe Montana foot. Yep.
or primetime football.
You know what? That prime time was something else. Yeah, a lot of what you call them what you call that? You know how on Tecmo Bowl they were having like the little splits when they run over somebody
Hmm.
like that. They had a lot of those.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
The Sega,
Oh
yeah.
my god. All right. Cause I know about the Falcons around that time, but it was like everybody loved Dion. I remember the too legit to quit videos with MC Hammer and stuff at that time,
Yeah.
but I didn't follow football like that. I told you I was a baseball kid. That's all we did. We watched baseball and we played baseball.
We played baseball. We played, like I said, that's the reason
I
why
played.
I wasn't really in it. We was always outside when the game was on. We got kicked out of the house. So
Well, we made our own games up, boy. I
yeah,
told you.
that's what we did. The
Like I
same
played,
thing.
like I played football. I used to play football in the backyard growing up. I never watched it. The only thing they just told me just run and don't let nobody take you down. That's all that was.
Yeah.
I'd watch rugby if I had to. Actually, I think I had a couple partners that did play rugby, by the way. But
I wish.
that's another thing.
That's a whole nother. Yeah. That's a whole nother subject. Some rugby.
Hmm. I need to find me. We need to find some rugby players to damn interview or something like that. But I do. You know what? I need to hit that guy up I told you about, Mike. I got somebody in mind, but
Okay.
we're gonna talk about that when we
Mhm.
get off here. But we're gonna go ahead and get up on out of here. I ain't got much left to say. Mike, you got anything else you want to say?
No, sir. I mean, no. Like I said, man, it's getting closer to April, and we'll know what happens in April real soon. But this probably one of the worst, and I'm talking about one of the worst times in draft. Like it's bad. Like nobody cares about it. You don't even see NFL or ESPN doing too much on the draft right now, and that's bad. Like we up here showcasing flag football games with Tom Brady old ass on the field than doing anything about the draft.
Exactly.
So that tells you what we in right now.
A flag football game getting more attention than the NFL draft. Yeah, that's a
Come on,
problem.
man. That's bad.
That's a problem. And Sounds like an STS conversation we need to have.
Oh,
Really, I'm intrigued about something. I got something in mind
okay.
about that. But you know how we got to do it STS style. You know, I got to figure that out. So, hey man, it's a great show, guys. And all of you in the chat, I appreciate your banter and vibes. Yeah, man, we appreciate everybody.
Absolutely.
We appreciate everybody tuning in, man. We appreciate everybody that's in here. We appreciate the day ones, the real ones.
Real ones. All right. The
We
real,
appreciate the real ones.
not the Matt Ryan fans who just so happen to subscribe to us. The people that actually love the game and love what we do.
Mm-hmm. Not the motherfuckers that subscribe to spy on us. Now we ain't talking about them neither.
Nope.
We ain't talking about them.
That's a hell.
We ain't talking about hell for what's that? Fuck no. Yeah. Hey, don't think we forgot, man. We still waiting on that Surviving Mad Mike Sports documentary to come out, y'all. So y'all be on the lookout for that.
Yep.
So until next time, people, we here to play.
Oh, absolutely not.
We here to stay.
Oh yeah, dig it.
You ain't gotta go home,
but you got to get the hell out of here. Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they call him the Don, the architect of the whole faction. Mad Mike Sports with the play call, yeah, that's the main attraction. The unholy alliance, we moving with some savage aggression. Got the whole game in a frenzy, we teaching a lesson. 6MK live tuning, you hear pumping through the nation. The new generation listening to the originator's creation. We the ones that built the throne, accept no substitution. We the ones that built the throne, accept no substitution.